It's indeed an honor to be here. I'm a proud member of the Free Mumia Abu Jamal Coalition and a longtime supporter and admirer of Workers' World and the International Action Center. And this is not a paid political announcement. I just wanted to begin by reading something that Comrade Che wrote to a woman so many years ago whose name was also Guevara. Her name was Maria Rosario Guevara. It was written in February of 1964. It says, "Compañera, truthfully speaking, I don't know what part of Spain my family came from. Of course, my ancestors left there a long time ago with one hand in front and another behind. And if I don't keep mine in the same place, it is only because of the discomfort of the position. I don't think you and I are very closely related, but if you are capable of trembling with indignation each time that an injustice is committed in the world, we are comrades, and that is more important." And I'd like to refer that comment to Reverend Pinckney. He was sometimes I get a little nervous, but anyway, he reacted very strongly to indignation, and he placed himself on the side of the people, and he paid a high price for it. And he reminds me of other freedom fighters who also made these sacrifices. Among them, just very quickly, was Father Giorgio Gabon, the Berrigan brothers, Desmond Tutu, Oscar Romero, Archbishop Oscar Romero, Sister Helen Prejean, Reverend William Barber, John Brown, Nat Turner, Imam Emil Jamil Alamin, Fannie Lou Hamer, Ann Braden, Viola Liuzzo, Marilyn Buck, and Sister Ashada. I first heard of Benton Harbor, Michigan when I was a kid. On Saturday nights, my brother and my dad would watch wrestling, and there was this gentleman named Bobo Brazil, along with Gorilla Monsoon, Haystacks Calhoun, and Sailor Art Thomas. And it was many years later that I came to know about Reverend Pinckney. And I want to say, it's an honor again to know you and to admire your dedication and work on behalf of humanity. Reverend Pinckney had the temerity to go up against the mayor and the Whirlpool Corporation, which had a company town attitude, highlights the collusion between the business community and the state to protect each other's interests. He was framed and punished via imprisonment. He has much in common with Mumia Abu Jamal and others. And we must celebrate these freedom fighters because they're willing to risk all on our behalf. And they have a devotion that can't be bought or silenced. The list of political prisoners in the United States is very long. And it's one of the only countries, virtually the only country in the world that denies that it has political prisoners, which in a very real sense is cowardly, because they can't even acknowledge that people can express themselves through political dissent here in this United States. And as Mumia calls the United States, it's the prison house of nations. Aside from the fighting for against the system on principle, it's important to remember that Reverend Pinckney is worthy of prolonged applause. And let's give him another round of applause now. I'm also reminded of Comrade or Comandante Fidel, who, in his very famous speech, History Will Absolve Me, laid out a very critical and airtight rationale about why they went up against the Batista regime. It was deeply based in history, going back to the days when they fought against Spain for independence, and it was carried forward to the present when the United States made Cuba a colony of the United States in 1898. And that struggle continued very successfully when the Cuban Revolution came into power. And there was a long trial. He was arrested, and Fidel was going to be sentenced to death. And he says, "Condemn me. It does not matter. History will absolve me." And we're very grateful for the example that the Cubans have set for us. As a matter of fact, it's a standard that we should try to live up to for the rest of our lives. I will always remember the rare opportunity I had to travel to Cuba in 1978 for the 20th anniversary. And the country itself was alive with supporting Angola, of course, which fought against the invasion of South Africa with the collusion of the United States. I don't want to go on because it'll take up much more time than we have allotted for us, but I just want to thank Reverend Pinckney for your shining example, and may you live as long as you may and keep on struggling.